The new Modus Super Series champion.
Oh my word!
It's another incredible moment tonight.
Jeff Smith.
It's match start.
5-star performer, and the bullseye is hit.
It's Johnny Magny.
Is he going to miss this? No, he's not.
Saying like Steve Beaton.
Tops
Getting shot on the first leg, Keegan
is hit. Pair of fours.
Getting shot on the fourth leg,
And
Gemma
that
Hayter.
is 3-1 to Gemma Hayter. Tops. For the win for West.
Getting shot on the mat, Steve West.
It is. Marker.
Getting shot on the mat.
Used to perfection by Willie Borland.
Well, that's the question we are going to answer this evening as Group B of Week 11 in Series 13 comes to a close. Half the field for finals night are already in place. We'll find out the other three at the end of tonight. Welcome along to this evening's entertainment live here on Pluto TV. This is the Modus Super Series and Group B will culminate this evening. Alongside me to talk you through tonight's Arrows action is Laura Turner. Laura, it's already been a dramatic day. We could have a dramatic night as well.
Yeah, I'm expecting it as well. As you say, this afternoon session went right down to the wire, and the way that Group B is looking coming into this evening's action, it could be very similar.
Absolutely. You touched on it there, actually, Group C this afternoon. A lot of the players went through a roller coaster of emotions, none more so than Jared Cole, who had to wait for results. He did some good stuff on the hockey himself, including this 164 checkout, but he lived a bit of a charmed life at times, and he really went through the mill, didn't he?
Yeah, well, we talk about this match in particular. He averaged in excess of, I think, 103, had the 164 checkout, 3 180s, and still ended up losing the match. So he was demonstrating that, you know, those levels that he's got. Good player. I'm really pleased that he got through. He was so emotional afterwards. He was so excited. But as you say, it was not cut and dry.
Yeah, Scott Robertson missed out. Simon Stevenson went through as group winner, despite actually qualifying after Jared Cole had already qualified. Ben Robb won Group A on leg difference from Willie Borland, who actually finds himself in a good position to make it through to finals night himself. He leads the way in Group B going into tonight's action. Steve West, Keegan Brown and Steve Beaton all on 4 points. Gemma Hayter with a solitary victory last night, but still very much in the mix. But Willie Borland's done the vast amount of his bidding, hasn't he, already?
Yeah, he's only dropped that. He's only had that one loss, dropped a couple of points, but sat comfortably at the top of the table. And I think he'll be more than aware with what happened in Group A that, you know, you cannot afford to take your foot off the gas at any point. I mean, this was a really tight match. It was a game that could have gone the other way, but Willie Borland managed to find a way to get across the line.
Absolutely. 3 players going through. Only one can win the group, however, and this is the odds for the evening. We'll show you Willie Borland 7-5, Steve Beaton 5-2, Steve West third favourite, Keegan Brown 9-2, still fourth favourite, and Gemma Hayter the outsider, understandably. Maybe 25-1 is a bit large, however. What do you make of those odds?
Yeah, I agree, because anything can happen in these scenarios. I mean, Gemma has got a couple of points. She's only 2 wins away from matching the points of Willie Borland in first place. But Keegan Brown, he does get fired up when he's kind of looked as a bit of an outsider. He's won a week at being, you know, odds out of the odds. He's been one of those players that just likes to defy them. So, you know, that could be some value there as well.
Certainly could, right. 18 plus gambleaware.org if you are going to have a bet on the Modus Super Series tonight. The first match is a battle between 2 Steves, West and Beaton, and I've been talking to Steve before he gets this evening's action underway. Steve, Friday night, business end of trying to make it through to Saturday, something you know well how to do, but how are you feeling ahead of this night?
Yeah, again, during the week, I was playing some really, really good stuff, but missing doubles, giving people chances and losing games that really I shouldn't have lost, and I've done a game against Steve last night. So I'm hoping that sort of eradicates and I can get on with being me.
When you spoke to us on Monday, you said you weren't quite sure how the darts was going to go. You hoped to grow into the week. Do you feel like that's happened?
I feel like it has, but again, like I said, I'm missing a few silly doubles and not really being 100% focused. So that's what I'm going to look at working on before we start tonight.
This group is really close. Everyone in there is going to feel that they've got a decent chance. What's the camaraderie been like in the players' room? Two of you are going to drop out. What's it like, the banter between you guys?
Yeah, we all know Steve and what he's like, so he's just as dry as they come, and he'll have a laugh with anyone, and it's all been good. Keegan's he's funny as he always is. So yeah, Gemma's joining in as well. She's like, you know, it's good. Me and Willie always get on. We just have a little bit of a laugh and a joke, but when you get up there, obviously you've got a job to do, and you know, it doesn't matter what goes on in the back room, it's what happens up there that counts.
I was going to say, you've been here plenty of times. Is the Friday feeling very different to a Thursday feeling, for example?
Yeah, depending on what happens on the Thursday. Obviously, I've let things slip a little bit last night, so Friday's a little bit more tetchy, if you like, and you know you've got to focus and concentrate that a little bit more just to get the job done.
And what's the plan of attack then this evening?
Win.
There we go, short and sweet. Good luck.
No worries, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, and if Steve West does win his opening match of the night, he'll join Willie Borland on 6 points. The same applies to his opponent, Steve Beaton. And we just saw in the pre-show, pre-darts chat there that Beaton could have got that result against Borland that could have seen him be at the top of the table. So we know this is a group where anybody can beat anybody, and we are going to strap ourselves in for a rather exciting climax to the group. How important then? Of course, it always seems like the later matches are important, Laura, but they're all worth the same number of points, aren't they? So how important is this match going to be for these two players?
Yeah, I think it's important for both of them to get a good start, put a bit of pressure on Willie Borland at the top of the table and try and get a bit of a gap forming. Whoever wins that, as you mentioned, they'll go on to 6 points. But I think a case in point is actually Scott Robertson this afternoon in Group C. His first match out, he lost 4-0, and then he went on to lose out by just one solitary leg to qualify through to finals tonight. And I do think every single match is important, as you say. They're all weighted the same, but I just think the pressure ramps up as we get to the business end of an evening.
First leg, Steve West to throw first.
So the two Steves.
Game on.
Go head to head. And Steve
78.
West already shaking his head.
$140.
Couldn't get too sort of, in terms of their Oki personalities, you couldn't get two more different characters, could you? Steve West, who lives and breathes every dart, reacts to most of them. And Steve Beaton, you wouldn't know if he'd hit a score of 3 or 3 treble 20s.
Well, funny enough, he was speaking to Niall yesterday, and he said it was just part of that generation where you never wanted your opponent to know how you were thinking, how you were feeling. Even if you were happy for winning a leg or you were really disappointed for losing a leg, you tried not to give anything away. And I think that just sums up exactly what you've said.
$58.
A little bit of a reaction there from Steve Beaton, just to disprove our theory for a moment. It's about as bad as it gets, so from the bronze Adonis.
Yeah, as long as he's not letting his opponent know, I think that's the key point. But it's only human, isn't it? It's only natural if you're disappointed with something.
124.
This, of course, was a final fixture of last night.
38. Sivakar 59.
Steve West winning it 4-2. Topsy wants to carry on this little run of success over Mr. Beaton.
Second leg, Steve Beaton to throw first. Game on. $137. $180.
First maximum of the evening goes the way of Steve West. That brings his tally to 6 in Group B.
100.
Yeah, both Steve West and Steve Beaton yesterday, 5 180s apiece. The scoring phases weren't always an issue, but I was looking over
41.
the stats. I was surprised. It was just the 2 ton plus finishes. We had a flurry of them in Group C, but no real showstoppers in terms of the finishing
100.
stats from last night.
Yeah, only 2 ton plus checkouts in that group last night. The highest being 120.
60. Steve Carr 164. 100.
And if Steve West can somehow find a treble here, he'll get a chance for a 120 again.
100. Steve Carr 64.
Well, that was the dart of the night so far. Might not matter a jot because Beaton wants double 4 to take the leg, can't
60.
find it. So are we going to get the
Steve Carr
third
120.
3-figure finish of this group in just the second leg of tonight?
It's going to go. He needs the treble 20 and just pulls it low. So let off
80.
really for
Steve Carr
Beaton.
4.
Yeah, it's that awkward. It's a bit of a blocker, and yet moving across the oche, trying to open up an angle,
Not
and he got the
score.
right line, but
Steve
not the
Carr
height.
40.
Two tens.
Getting shown the second leg, Steve
2-0.
West. Third leg, Steve West to throw first. Game on.
Well, looking at the situation in the group, if you're on 6 points with 3 games remaining, it's very much in your hands. If you're on 6 points with 2 games
58.
remaining, it's actually mathematically in your hands because 10 points will definitely get you through. But 8 points doesn't always get you through. And that was
85.
the story for Steve Beaton when he played the international pairs alongside Adrian Lewis. Well, he's coming back for international pairs. He took Steve West's place, didn't he? Because Steve West played for England with Mervyn King in the first international pairs. They were booted out and replaced by Steve Beaton and Adrian Lewis. And now Adrian Lewis has been substituted for Fallon Sherrock.
Well, that's the thing when you've got,
140.
especially the home nations, you know, the ones that, your Englands, your Scotlands, your Wales, there's such a lot of players that you can pick from.
59.
Well, if he beats him twice, and maybe again tomorrow, there might be a case for
59.
Steve West saying, well, it should have been me. Should have been west of England, having beaten twice.
45.
Although he's only halfway to doing that, there is still plenty of darts to be thrown in this match. Although you don't want many of them there.
80.
That's better.
99. Steve Carr 137.
Double 16 for a 137. We were saying there was only a couple of ton plus checkouts. Well, that's the biggest one that we've seen so far in Group B. And you feel it was one that Steve Beaton really needed because he had 5 darts in the previous leg to see off Steve West. And now he kicks off with a max 6 perfect darts from Steve Beaton.
And he's found that
81.
purple patch. How long will it last? The perfection ends,
96.
but he puts himself in a pretty position in leg 4.
$60. 80. 60. Steve Carr 145. 93.
Well, Beaton on 52 to
41.
level this one up.
Supercar 52. $36.
I can't do it this time of asking, but Steve West way back over that halfway line.
41. Supercar 16.
Starting to see a little bit more frustration from Steve West. We did say he wears his
Each on the
heart on his
fourth leg,
sleeve when it
Steve
comes
Beaton.
to his reactions on the oche.
Fifth leg, Steve West to throw first. Game on. $45. $82. $95. $96. $58.
Yeah, very little to split these two.
123.
Well, there was very little to split these two, but a two-treble visit from Steve Beaton just gives him the edge.
133.
And there is an argument to say Steve Beaton could actually have found himself 3-1 up here, but as it stands, he could go
85.
into a 3-2
Supercar
lead if West can't
170.
find this 170.
Yeah, I did Steve Beaton out of a
94.
win last
Supercar
night. He actually beat
115.
Steve West 4-3 in the final fixture of the evening. Apologies, fans of Steve Beaton, or people who just thought they might have had one too many. If they thought that was the result last night, you were right, I was wrong. 4-3 to Steve Beaton.
45. Supercar 76.
This could be 3-2 to Steve West if he can find double eights, which he can.
Each on the fifth leg, Steve West.
So he gets to 3 again, but this time can he convert to 4?
Sixth leg, Steve Beaton to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, Steve Beaton looking to try and
100.
force that tie-break leg once again.
$140.
West's finishing has been good. 3 out of 5.
58.
If he can get down to a double again, he's got a good chance.
Yeah, for me, that leg that got away for Steve Beaton, leg number
100.
2, as I say, 5 darts he had to see off the leg to level things up at 1 apiece and found himself on the back foot early doors. Just gives you less room to
140.
manoeuvre, and in a race to 4, you can come unstuck pretty quickly.
$85. $137. $60. Supercar 66. $42. Supercar 116.
So 116 for the win. Steve Beaton waiting on double 12. West moving across to try and locate the treble 19. Fails to do so.
40. Supercar 24.
More like an England footballer with that one than an England dart player based on the performance earlier in the week.
No score.
Miss, miss,
Supercar
miss.
76.
But the current England international in Modus Super Series terms also misses, and West now can go for the same shot he took out in the previous leg. Different route this time. 2 singles for tops. And West is best in the opening match of the evening. He gets the better of Steve Beaton. See, I told you he beat him 4-2. I was just looking into the future. These the stats from the game. West's finishing is what got the win in the bag for him. He's on 6 points alongside Willie Borland, who's in action next against Gemma Hayter. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we just saw Steve West get a 4-2 win against Steve Beaton to put himself tied at the top of the table alongside big Willie Borland, who's about to take on Gemma Hayter, 32-year-old from Gosport with very precisely weighed darts. Willie Borland, 29, from East Calder in Scotland. Did win a week back in Series 6, back at the Live Lounge for Series 13, and hoping to be back at finals night, although it looks like his night's already over. Big yawn from Big Willie. Maybe Paul Hinks has been telling one of his stories.
First leg, Gemma to throw first. Game on.
Well, what's the story of this match and this night going to be? To be honest, Laura, you would think that the outcome of this match will have a big say in that. Because if Borland wins it, he's racing away and is one win from qualification. And if Hayter loses it, then she's really is playing catch-up. Bearing in mind, Steve Beaton and Keegan Brown play each other in the next game. She's going to be 4 points behind whatever happens, third place.
Yeah, and she just didn't seem to settle in yesterday. She looked a bit frustrated at times. This was a match that she lost 4 legs to 0. Didn't actually have a shot at a double. Was one of the last matches of the evening, but already just made a more positive start. Much more what we're used to seeing from Gemma.
85. $42. Gemma Carwood and 51.
Borland 25 into play. Right plan, wrong execution.
$27.
Well, Hayter down to a
57.
Checkout, which
Gemma
could involve the ball,
24.
but Borland not making too many inroads himself.
A great dart for the bullseye. Yes, what a start from Gemma Hayter.
Second leg, Willie
leads the table topper by a leg to 0.
93.
And we were bemoaning the lack of big checkouts last night, Laura. Well, they have not let us down this evening. The 137 from Stevie B, and then that brilliant 1-2-4 bullseye finish from Gemma.
58.
Yeah, and I think for Gemma, she just needs that positive start. She was speaking before playing yesterday, and she was saying, you know, she's here to compete. She's here to do well. She loves playing at the Super Series. She's had success on this stage as well.
140. $44.
She has made it through to Saturday nights on occasions. Gemma Hayter, she's also had success on this stage. Won a Women's Week, won a
60.
ADC, WADC Tour title. She's very much amongst the elite of ladies darts, and she is more than competitive when she plays here.
Yeah, I do agree. And although Willie Borland, he got those
64.
3 wins, wasn't perhaps the best standard
96.
that we've seen for Willie Borland. Actually, if you look at the averages overall for the night, he's 4th on that list in terms of stats.
Well, here she goes again. Double 12, and that's a decent marker. Not utilised. Borland
68.
looks at 68 to square up the tie. Double 4. Oh, that's a wild miss.
Gemma 12.
On the post. 2 on the post. You could just see that there's a lot of distraction there, isn't there? There was big purple flights in front of the green double.
36.
But not punished once again by Willie Borland. So another opportunity. Just the width of a wire away. But now, here's the Madhouse. Is double 1. It slipped into the 10. But maybe the change was what was required as Hayter pins double 1.
Third leg, Gemma to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, I know things like averages and the stats that we go by,
59.
they are only a guide, and ultimately it's about the winning. But Willie Borland, in terms of the overall
60.
average for last night, 84, and the tiniest bit of change. But Steve West had just under an 88. You had Steve Beaton just in excess of an 85 and a
60.
half, and over 90 for Keegan Brown. So gives you an indication that quite often in darts it's all about timing, and I think that was what
41.
Willie Borland got right when he had those chances. He took them, because to counter that, he's got some of the best finishing stats of the evening.
40.
Well, Gemma Hayter, I mean, according to these first two legs, I know it's only two legs,
99.
but she's up to level slightly from last night. Sort of around the 80 mark in terms of the average.
140.
She did have one performance, a match that she won actually, which was significantly higher at
100.
pretty much where she's at now, 83, 84, when she beat Keegan Brown. He had a strange night, didn't he, Keegan Brown? He's a 30-point range in his averages.
He kicked off with what ended up being the
32.
lowest average of the evening, then found the highest average of the evening in excess of 102. Lost to Gemma and then hit another 100-plus average. Yeah, that's definitely consistently inconsistent.
105. Gemma Car 170.
So 96 for Willie Borland.
125. Willie Car 96.
Has had two darts at double, failed to find. Needs a treble though, fails to find that as well. So Hayter here is going to get 2 more
Gemma Car
darts
45.
at the outer ring. Double 10. Oh,
35. Willie Car
will
60.
she look back and rue those chances?
Has a spurner dart here. It's one dart at
40.
tops, and it's way off
Gemma
the target
Car
once
10.
again. And Willie Borland shaking his head, not sure what's going on, but Hayter with another chance.
No score. Willie Car 20. Getting shown the third leg, Willie Borland.
Yeah, sarcastic lift of the arms as Willie Borland does
Fourth leg, Willie to
pin
throw
double
first.
10.
Game on. $93.
Something Niall and I discussed today with regards to Jared Cole, who went into Group C at the top of the table overnight. And when you're at that top of the pile, you've got a big target on your back. Everyone's chasing you down.
37.
Just starting to be a little bit concerning here for Gemma. Those darts were not what she would have wanted. You can just see her wiping her hand.
180.
Maybe a bit of perspiration. There'll be perspiration on the brow now because Willie Borland's piling on the pressure. And I almost think that first dart there was
60.
just, let's just hit a big 20 and get back into the line. Don't worry about the treble with dart 1 and work from there.
58.
Problem in this game, though, has been the finishing, hasn't it, for Gemma? I know she took out the 1-2-4 on the bullseye, but she's had a further 11 darts at doubles and only hit one of them.
Willie Car 170.
She has hit a max back of her
58.
own in this leg, but it's Willie Borland down to a finish first. And the key, as we've always say, is consistency. And can't
26.
find a treble
Willie
after hitting
Car
the max.
112.
Treble found.
80.
Double not, but Hayter can't do anything about it. Was beaten 4-0 in this fixture last night, but only had 3 attempts at double.
58. Willie Car 32. Gage on the fourth leg, Willie Borland.
She's had a dozen at double in this game, but it's only 2-2.
Fifth leg, Gemma to throw
After
first.
4 legs.
Game on.
And there you see, neither with particularly shining checkout percentages, but it's those 10 missed starts, those
66.
opportunities, the difference for Gemma. And I think for Willie Borland at that point, as I think he's been attacked by a fly. But the difference, I think Willie Borland's now starting to play himself into a bit of form. The confidence is growing and coming back. Whereas if Gemma had led 3 legs to nil, I think that they could have been in the back room by now.
Yeah, they've both played on the Ali Pali stage, so they'll be used to dealing with unidentified flying insects.
60.
Willie Borland were one of the most famous matches, one of the most famous
100.
moments on that stage, didn't he?
Kind of did a Dean Win Stanley and hit the 9 darter and then just disappeared. It was to win the match as well.
Epic contest
85.
against Bradley Brooks, very memorable.
60.
Yeah, but every time I hear the name Borland, I want to repeat it 3 times because it's Borland, Borland.
100.
Maybe he was just running away from a wasp.
Yeah, I wonder the different tactics that players are going to start to have against the Ali Pali wasp. I mean, we saw a wasp spray up there. Was that Jürgen
95.
Van der Velde, yeah.
Velde?
Which I believe he was reprimanded for, wasn't he?
Quite possibly, but he also sprayed himself in the eyes.
Yeah, that's not the best idea. Whenever you are spraying any kind of aerosol, make sure
25.
that the part where the substance comes out is pointing away from you.
45.
I suppose unless it's deodorant, then you really do want to point that towards yourself, but not in the eyes. You
Not
get the
in the
picture.
43. Willie Carr, 160.
160 then here, not going to go. Hayter on 122. She needs to
60.
find that
Willie
same
Carr, 122.
vein that saw her produce the 124 earlier. Treble 18 will get her a go at the ball. Is it in? It was in,
79.
but that's not.
Willie Carr, 100. 48. Gemma Carr, 43. Eight.
They'll come back for 100 after more misses by Gemma Hayter.
Yeah, when you think back to that first leg, she's kicked off in 15. She's backed it up in leg number 2. She looked confident, she looked comfortable, but now she looks slightly perturbed by the amount of darts she's missed at a double.
Just a little bit of confusion about who scored what. Willie Borland looking slightly bemused.
Yeah, both players deep in conversation, just trying to assist the referee Paul Hinks in what's been hit.
Did you know what? I can't even remember. I know she hit a 5 going for tops, didn't she?
Yeah, 3 for the first, 5 going for tops.
Is Willie to throw next? Yeah. Okay. Game on.
There we go, all sorted. See, we sorted it, Laura, didn't we?
I'm not sure how much help we really were.
Double 16, double 8.
36. Gemma Carr, 35. Game shown the 5th leg, Gemma Hayter.
Was worth the wait for Gemma.
6th leg, Willie to throw first. Game on. 140.
Yeah, good start in leg number 6 for Willie Borland. Gemma just needs to try and find that rhythm, find that line that she had in those first couple of opening
70.
legs. But even if Gemma can pick up a few
82.
wins, I still think that some of them are going to have to come in and be big because of that leg difference.
60.
Yeah, what it would do though is just
140.
make Willie Borland's night a little more awkward, bearing in mind his next game's against Steve West. So if he can beat him, suddenly Steve West's completely in control of the group. And Borland just finds himself treading water a little bit.
39.
Great dart. Great finish
Willie Borland.
from Willie Borland. He worked it out from bottom to top. And it's levels your Devils going
So the
into
final
leg
leg, Gemma to
7,
throw first. Game on.
in which Hayter has the throw. It's another big finish tonight as well, Laura.
Yeah, you can just see there this match alone, a 1-2-4 for Hayter in the opener, a 1-3-9 there for Willie Borland to
42.
level things up at 3 apiece. Shall I stop moaning that we haven't had a 9 darter?
We'll go for it.
Well, we haven't had one.
134.
We also haven't seen a big fish.
No, there is time. And the players have got the talent to do it.
121.
Are we going to see a second win for Gemma Hayter in this group? If she does get it, by the way, the entire group will be separated
40.
by just 2 points.
Yeah, separated by 2 points. One player still yet to make their appearance this evening in Keegan Brown.
100.
He's up next against Steve Beaton.
Yeah, and after that first result, that really
100.
looked like becoming a key fixture, didn't it? The battle between Brown and Beaton, with Hayter being a bit of a mathematical outsider. But
41.
she could be level on points with a pair of them. And Borland needs
45.
a treble now to leave a finish. He's not done that. Advantage remains with Gemma.
Gemma, one of those
45.
players, she's talking to herself, trying to just get that adrenaline going, find some big score. But Willie Borland struggling to find a big treble himself.
42. Gemma Yukar, 152.
I don't know about you, but this is starting to feel really edgy.
$80. Willie Yukar, 140. $100. Gemma Yukar, 72.
Well, he leaves himself handy, but he'll have to hope, and that hope might be fading fast. Hayter wants double 12.
60.
Is that her
Willie
hopes
Yukar,
gone
40.
in terms of making it through to Saturday night? Borland on tops, great guide. Oh, has that made it more difficult?
He's on
No,
the match, Willie Borland.
he's found a way in. He looks to the heavens, shakes his head. A bit of an apology there as well. Scrappy at times, that one. But the key thing is that Willie Borland managed to hit the match-winning double after Gemma Hayter had missed 2 to do that herself. So she goes down and pretty much out, in all honesty, with Beaton and Brown playing next. One of those will go to 6 points. Steve West on 6 points. Willie Borland remains top of the table. He's now on 8.
Well, we are back here, Modus Super Series. We've just seen Willie Borland edge past Gemma Hayter 4 legs to 3, which sees him back comfortably at the top of the table. But the chasing pack are taking on the stage now. First outing this evening for Keegan Brown. He takes on Steve Beaton. Steve Beaton we have already seen once in the opening match where he went down 4 legs to 2 against Steve West. Now, Keegan Brown yesterday had most definitely kind of an evening of, well, 4 quarters, I'd say, because he started off producing what ended up being the lowest average of the night. Then he came back with an emphatic 102 plus average, then dropped off, lost to Gemma Hayter, and Gemma Hayter's sole win yesterday, and then came back again with another 102. But I spoke to Keegan earlier and he said, no, he's feeling good, he's feeling confident, he likes his position on the table as well, because now he's up on the oche. He basically is in that role where he has 1 game off, 1 game on, 1 game off, 1 game on, and he thinks that will work really well for him. It's good to hear him saying good things, but really important fixture, I think, in terms of the table, especially for Steve Beaton.
Yeah, I mean, we could look back at it at the end of the night and pretty much see it as a qualification decider. You'd have to say that Gemma Hayter is effectively out at this stage. She can only max 8 points now, and
120.
That would mean her winning all of her remaining matches. Not mathematically eliminated, but she's kind of running out of time. Willie Borland with that win, and it could have been the other way around. We could have been talking about a group separated by 2 points, but Willie Borland looks pretty much through. And you're looking at the battle between West, Brown and Beaton for the remaining 2 spots. I think both players will be treating this like a knockout match.
58.
Yeah, the only thing I always say with regards to Keegan Brown is sometimes he's not the fastest when it comes to that first game of getting out, getting his best out of himself. We saw that yesterday. He cannot afford to do it here, especially against a player like Steve Beaton.
$121, Supercar 150.
Well, he can't finish, but he
84.
could set up. And that last start was a bit troublesome for Steve Beaton yesterday, just going wayward.
140, Supercar 66.
Opts for the ball route. 9 for double 16.
Game shown the first leg,
Cleanly
Steve
taken
Beaton.
in the end for Stevie B.
Second leg, Keegan to throw first. Game on. $58.
Already early stages of leg number 2, and it's an opportunity for Steve Beaton as Keegan Brown can't find a big treble.
100.
Steve Beaton does find 1, but unlucky not to get more. You will see that quite often from Keegan Brown, that motion of taking his
100.
throwing arm, going down to pick up that dart. He does have a bit of a proclivity to knock it out of his hand.
140. $43.
Oh, shake of the head after that visit from Keegan Brown. Beaton on course to double his advantage with a breaker throw here.
43.
But he kind of matches the mess from Keegan with the previous visit. And the punishment's incoming.
100.
Gone for a different look this time, hasn't he, Keegan Brown? Debuted that blue and white shirt last night.
Yeah,
60.
apparently he's saving the pink one for Saturday if he gets through.
Okay. What is it, a new pink one or?
No, I think it probably is the same pink one from the sounds of it. It's just for some reason it's
168.
all
Supercar
about the blue and
158.
white for Keegan Brown, but still got the pink on the back of the shirt in terms of his name.
$45.
Might be a few people booking tickets if Keegan Brown books his spot in Saturday night. double 8 will help him do that.
Getting shown the second leg,
As
Keegan
he
Brown.
squares up this game with Steve Beaton, but he does live quite close to
Third
here,
leg, Steve to
albeit
throw
over
first.
water
Game on.
the Isle of Wight. There'll be a few ferrying across to cheer on Keegan, just as he did when he won his week in the previous series.
96.
And he turned on the waterworks after that.
Yeah, he did indeed. A real emotional response from Keegan. Arguably, it's
93.
one of those groups that's filled with quite a few people living locally, with the likes of Gemma Hayter just over in Gosport and
55.
Steve West now living down in Waterlooville.
Well, they probably meet in local events, don't they? It probably gives them a bit
58.
of comfort, to be fair, in the practice rooms, that knowing each other that well. I know that the players that have been on the Pro Tour anyway will be well familiar, but if you want to be part of
97.
that crowd, then scan that QR code, go to dartshop.tv, get your tickets for Saturday night, just a £5.
Yeah, I mean, where
60.
else can you go and have live sporting entertainment for just £5?
If you can get down to
78.
Portsmouth, whether it be this week or any week in 2026, it is a unique sporting experience.
58.
Yeah, we're not far away. Obviously, we've got international pairs, which was pretty much a sellout in terms of crowd last time, and Champions Week is always a
140.
popular one.
And there around the corner is this leg around the corner for Steve Beaton, 35 for him.
81. Supercar 35.
Double 16
Getting shown the third
takes
leg,
it out.
Steve
So a
Beaton.
2-1 lead for the veteran Steve Beaton.
Fourth leg, Keegan to
It
throw
was interesting,
first.
wasn't it, that
Game
Steve
on.
Beaton tried to get his tour card back at the start of this year, having retired from the PDC tour, by handing his tour card in. So had a year out and then thought, oh,
174.
I kind of miss it.
Yeah, he said he misses that competitive action. He's doing a lot of exhibitions and he's kind of here, there and everywhere. At one
93.
point, I think he said he was busier than he'd ever been when it came to playing. But exhibitions, they're not always, but they're not the same as how it feels to compete against other
42.
players in live tournaments.
$96.
The thing is, with a player like Steve Beaton as well, you know, he can still compete at the very top level.
Yeah, definitely. You can understand
96.
him wanting to, at the time, sort of wind down, but decided that
100.
while he can still play the game, it was worth trying again.
Yeah, I was never sure. I just felt like it was a question that was asked to Steve Beaton for so many years. I mean, he did 33 consecutive world championships. And the question was, when are you going to
133.
stop? And I think at one point he just went, oh, I guess I'll stop now.
Yeah. Peer pressure.
58. Keegan Brown 56.
Like Steve, Keegan Brown's also a Pro Tour winner, a PDC champion.
Game shown the fourth
And
leg.
he's still in
Keegan
this
Brown.
battle. 2-2.
Fifth leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
I mean, Steve Beaton would have been well into the 20s in terms of World Championship appearances when Keegan Brown won his World Youth
134.
Championship.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll love to hear that. If he listens back.
81. $174.
Yeah, this
100.
match really does have a back and forth feel, just going with throw at the moment. And it's a formula that I think Steve Beaton wouldn't mind carrying on.
134. $57. Supercar 59. Getting shown the fifth leg, Steve Beaton.
Yeah, and that formula does continue. Steve Beaton moves
Sixth leg,
between
Keegan to throw first.
within one
Game
of the
on.
match, and slight disparity in the averages. But what both players have done ever so well is just play well when they've had the opportunity to throw first. Now all the pressure back on Keegan Brown's shoulders to do the same.
23.
And that is not the start he was looking for.
Yeah, he could be in a spot of bother now.
100. $100.
Here comes Beaton again. Perfect couple of darts.
125.
A little bit of a grimace after the third went flying into the 5, but he's got a nice 102-point advantage against the throw.
57.
So much space in that treble 20 bed.
177.
Opted to switch, but it's as good as a max. A 177 for Steve Beaton.
Well, it means that Keegan Brown has to hit at least...
83.
I would say at least 3
$2.99.
trebles then. Has to hit 3 trebles to leave a finish. 99 though. Beaton is in the zone, and he has closed the game off with menace there, Steve Beaton. What a way to end that encounter. 177 followed by a 99 checkout for a dozen darter to defeat Keegan Brown 4-2, and that puts Steve Beaton firmly in the box seat in the qualification picture. Great performance. Coming next, Willie Borland takes on Steve West. Welcome back to the live lounge, the home of the Modus Super Series, which is live and free on Pluto TV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, darting content around the clock. And the live action is continuing here, a battle between the two players at the top of the table right now, Willie Borland and Steve West. And if Willie Borland wins this match, he will be confirmed as qualified for finals night.
First leg, Willie.
Steve West can join him on 8 points. If it goes the other way, it looks like Borland will be heading through. Steve West will look like joining him if he wins the game. Steve Beaton, though, is the big mover. He's in third place on 6 points after beating Keegan Brown in the previous game. And Gemma Hayter
81.
pretty much eliminated at the bottom of the table at the moment.
140.
Yeah, well, this match yesterday, it was Steve West who inflicted Willie Borland's only loss so far.
96.
It's a 4-2 win for Steve West, and it will make things rather interesting if he can inflict that kind of
140.
win over him once again.
$100. Willie Carr, 141.
Well, 1 for 1 after 9 for Willie Borland. We were talking about the 1 for 1 for the 9 earlier on. Roll of the eyes from Steve West,
99.
who has nailed the 9 darter here at the live lounge. Did it against Luke Littler.
57. Willie Carr,
Steve
42.
West, one of the most successful players here at the Modus Super Series. But he could find himself one leg down. It's double 16 for Willie
10.
Borland.
Steve Carr, 167.
Bit of a smirk there from Steve West, not able to
97.
pin that
Willie
first
Carr,
big
32.
treble. So Borland back.
No score. Steve Carr, 70.
Yeah, Borland has not looked too convincing when it comes to the doubling. He was 4 from 12 in his win over Gemma Hayter. And it's tops here for Steve West, who did finish well in his match against Steve Beaton. And that trend continues.
Second leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
Early breaker throw. Steve West
100.
in good shape.
You have to say that match between Borland and Hayter,
121.
Willie Borland never really looked comfortable, settled. It wasn't the most convincing of victories.
No, it wasn't.
60.
He looked very relieved to get over the line at the end of it.
13.
Steve West, you mentioned patterns. His pattern in terms of results in this group is 1 lost, 1 lost, 1. So he'd be quite grateful to break that run here and get back-to-back victories for the first time in Group B.
Well, consecutive visits there of Willie Borland, not finding a big treble, but 13 followed up by 30. That's going to help Steve West if he is going to break the trend.
$100. Steve Carr, 144.
Another one in there for double 12 for a 144.
120. $43. Steve Carr, 24.
Over to double 6. Now, down at the bottom. Doesn't have to go for it because Borland not on a finish.
No score.
Yeah, probably a wise choice from West there, deciding to bust rather than mess around on that dodgy double 3.
Steve Carr, 24. Game shown in the second leg, Steve West.
And it worked out well in the end for Steve West, who doubles his leg tally.
Willie to throw first. Game on. 83. 99.
A confirmation that Willie Borland would qualify if he can turn this around and win the
97.
match. Did trail 2-0 to Gemma Hayter in his first one. As mentioned by Laura alongside me, it was a bit of a scrappy affair, and he's playing at a similar standard here. Willie Borland has not come out
140.
firing so far tonight.
93.
Yeah, Willie Borland, I think what he did well yesterday is he was consistent. He averaged just over 84 for the night, but his highest average was 85.16. You do expect players, you know, when they've got 4 games, to just maybe have one, a bit like Keegan Brown, where one that is a bit of an outlier in terms of the levels.
Well, Laura, earlier tonight you said we haven't had a big fish yet. They're both on it. Steve West is going for it. He ain't going to find it.
105.
But Big Willie's about to get his rod out. He couldn't take the bait.
No, keep on fishing there, Chris.
Well, it's going to have to be 14 for Bull now. And he makes a splash this
Steve
time.
West.
Steve West with a 3-leg lead against Willie Borland, who was on the cusp of qualification and now might be about to be usurped at the top of the table.
It was interesting watching Steve West come back, because he knows he's got away with one there just by the route that he's taken, finishing on the ball. And he had a quick glance up at Willie Borland, who was firmly looking at his feet. And a beautifully timed first maximum for Steve West.
60.
Well, this defeat isn't as damaging for Willie Borland as a similar scoreline or even outcome would have been for Steve West.
135.
He was the one that really needed to win to cement his position in the top 2.
96.
No, I think my only real concern is
86.
perhaps the level of play that we've seen from Borland in the first couple of matches.
Yeah, it's strange that he hasn't been able to put anything together, and Steve West is in no mood for taking prisoners here. A 4-0 whitewash win for West. Willie Borland no longer safe. Steve West now top of the table. A fabulous win for him. His figures stacked up nicely. 93.94, 44% checkouts, and that 86 to win it as well. Willie Borland not at the races tonight. Is he going to lose more ground? Welcome back to the Modus Super Series live and free on Pluto TV, where Steve West just produced a wonderful performance to get the better of Willie Borland and go top of the table. Tied on 8 points. Next in line is Steve Beaton. He's on 6, and Keegan Brown needs to get there as well. He's been beaten by Beaton, and now he's down in 4th place. But a victory here will put him back on level terms with the bronze Adonis. He'll have to get the better of Gemma Hayter, and he's the player that Hayter beat last night.
Yeah, it was a close affair between the two. It was 4 legs to 3 in the favour of Gemma Hayter.
First leg, Keegan to throw first. Game on.
And I just wonder if a similar trend to what we saw from Keegan Brown will happen again tonight, because yeah, it was a tentative start in his opener yesterday. He lost that match. Then he came back with some style, put 30 points on his average.
Yeah, the stats in that game said that that result shouldn't have happened really, but the scoreboard said that it did.
100.
But he can't afford a repeat of that result tonight. Has to get the win. For Hayter, a win here kind of keeps the impossible dream technically alive.
58.
Can she beat Brown twice, though? That's the question. I mean, if it had gone the other way,
100.
we'd be looking at a very interesting run-in now, wouldn't we? Because Willie Borland fell over the line against Gemma Hayter. We'll feel she should have won that game. She would have then been on 4 points along with
60.
Keegan Brown. Borland would have been on 6 along with Steve Beaton.
Yeah, Gemma Hayter started really strongly. She led Willie Borland 2 legs to 0, including a really cleanly taken 1-2-4 finish on the ball, but it was 3 from 17 in the end for the finishing. She had chances in almost every leg.
55. Gemma Hayter, 161.
She has a chance here. Doesn't have to go for it, but I'm sure she will. It's ball for a 161.
136.
Just clips the bottom wire of the ball.
Oh, he had a little smirk to himself, and then a little stylish stare at the camera.
Getting shown the first leg, Gemma Hayter.
Gemma Hayter decides not to follow suit.
Second leg, Gemma to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, 2 rather different walks around the stage. A bit of peacockery, as some might say, from Keegan Brown.
100.
It is something, isn't it, that look, you're a big part of the world of darts, whether it be the Open Tour or the Ladies Tour, and it's something that you don't see much of in the women's game. That sort of, how should I put it? You call it peacockery. They don't tend to have that. I've got to be careful how I put this.
I'm waiting. I can help if you want, but I know what you mean. There's no big celebrations. There's not necessarily the bravado or the big personality
45.
that takes over the entirety of the stage. It's very much played in a subdued way. But don't get me wrong, despite that appearance, everyone is up there and they're really fighting to win their matches. I think sometimes if you go somewhere and look at, say, the women's match play, you will get big reactions. You have the likes of a Robin Byrne that will give it large, or Aileen de Graaf, and even Gemma Hayter. She's got a great picture captioned up where she's kind of celebrating winning a leg.
So, if he fancies it, of course he fancies it.
101.
Do you think that'll come? That showwomanship?
58. Keegan Brown, 25.
Yeah, perhaps. I think... Oh, well, I'll go into that in a minute, because Keegan Brown going for a single nines hit the double, so has to spurn a dart. It's 1 dart in hand. And
23.
yeah, I don't know if that's the right decision necessarily, because, yeah, okay, he would have had to reset to 25, but he knows he's coming back.
Yeah, good call.
137, Keegan Car 2.
Does it end well? It does
Sean
end
was saying
well
like
for Keegan
Brown.
Brown. Even like if he could have either busted it or he could have actually decided
Like Keegan to throw
to
first.
leave double
Game on.
one, knowing that he's going to bust the score if he goes inside. No harm done if he misses outside because he's still on double one like he was anyway going that route, which has been kind of a halfway house between busting and going the way he did. But all's well that ends well. One apiece.
96.
Yeah, going back to what you're saying, yeah, I think perhaps it will come. I think for some players it's just something that
100.
comes naturally, even in kind of what I'd call like the main tour, say the PDC. You do have players that give it some, and you have some that are quite quiet and just go around the stage minding their own business.
140.
I think what will happen is it will take one or two players to do it, and then others will start to emulate and feel a bit more confident doing it as well.
I mean, you could be the first if you want to go down that route.
134.
Mine is always kind of a knee-jerk reaction. I think last time I did it here, I ended up dancing, and you captioned it up
Yes.
for quite some time.
95.
Steve Beaton's had enough. I'm not sure where he's going or what he's
Keegan
doing,
Car,
but
170.
he's Steve Beaton. He can do what he likes.
As long as he's not gone for too long, he's playing next against Willie Borland.
'96. Gemma Car, 127. '84. Keegan Car, 74.
So to lead, a wrong treble, 41 remaining, 32 remaining.
58. Gemma Car, 43.
A chance here for Hayter. She had this left against Willie Borland. At this point, pulled it into the 5. Yeah, laugh there because it's well above the target. Big adjustment
23.
incoming, and it's an
Keegan Car,
over adjustment.
16.
So double 8 for Keegan Brown.
Game shown the third leg. Keegan Brown.
He gets it and gets the lead now. He's just having a little word with the referee, Paul Hinks. I think he noticed Steve Beaton sauntering past there. Well, we all noticed as well. And Keegan Brown felt distracted about it, but
Fourth egg, Gemma to throw first. Game on.
I'm sure it's over with Keegan. I don't think he's waiting behind the curtain ready to jump out and say boo.
Do you think this is what the Steve
58.
Beaton playbook?
Well, I mean, they are third and fourth in the table in a race for third place. I wouldn't have Steve Beaton as a master of the dark arts, but
Oh, could you imagine? drops his
97.
theme tune, just comes dancing past. This is a quiet venue when you're up there, so even someone walking down the side, you have to be in stealth mode.
I think Keegan's bothered himself here. He's done that thing that
140.
I think every dart player has done at some point, where something's happened once and it gets in your head and you spend the rest of the match waiting for it to happen again. Because every time he walks back, he's
140.
now looking in that little corner.
Yeah, as you can see there. Yeah, you have to be present.
95.
You have to be within the game because well, Gemma Hayter through first, and yes, she has got a slight lead, but Keegan Brown could make some real inroads, and that's 2 in the treble bed.
138.
Well, Steve Beaton plays Willie Borland next. If you see a blue and white figure go past during that game, then you know that Brown's got his own back.
140.
I think he's taken a wrong turn there.
126.
That's not a route that is authorised in this venue, and I'm sure he will be feeling the wrath of our players marshal as we speak. Will Gemma Hayter be feeling the wrath of Keegan Brown here?
78.
Couldn't quite convert.
Gemma Car, 68.
No, by way of hitting a couple of big 140s, she's given herself a chance. It's one dart, it's double 16.
36. Keegan Car, 48. 32. Gemma car 32.
It's actually a high standard affair, this. Both averaging into the 90s.
No score.
But neither
Keegan
can
car
find double 16. So a chance for a 2-leg buffer for Brown.
Getting shown the
And he
4th
gets
leg
it.
Keegan Brown. 5th leg Keegan to throw
I
first.
think
Game on.
if and when Gemma looks back to this experience, even yesterday, she didn't have quite so many chances at a double yesterday. She's had plenty today and just hasn't been able to take them. Despite that, as you say, averages way up there and gonna keep growing if Keegan can keep finding maxis.
If you were going to predict a maximum just judged by the facial expression on the player before they threw the darts, you would have
100.
backed him there, wouldn't you? Business-like from Keegan Brown. He means this. He wants this.
139.
But he's not going to get it.
Yeah, and I wonder if the switch was right because he just looks so free-flowing.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that question, but you beat me to it with the answer, Laura.
135.
Some players, is that a case of overcomplicating it? You can't take out the finish if you're not on it, can you?
Well, no, and I mean, I can understand it. Maybe that's just a routine way that he would try to
99.
go for a 9 darter, but there was so much space in the bed.
Well, there's plenty of space between the pair of them in this match, and Keegan Brown is on course
59.
to return
Keegan car
to
83.
third place in the table on leg difference. If he wins this leg. Oh, great dart, that. Double 8.
67.
Well, that was a horrible dart, and he'd be the first to admit it, but he's lucky that it didn't land in the double 16.
And Gemma Hayter not able at this point to apply much pressure. Needs a big treble.
28.
Cannot find
Keegan
it.
car 16.
So for the match, for a crucial win, the halfway stage of the evening,
Getting shown the marks,
Keegan Brown keeps up the fight. Himself and Steve Beaton both tied on 6 points. Willie Borland and Steve West have 8 apiece. Gemma Hayter shakes her head and goes off the stage. The inquest continues as Keegan Brown explains the vision that he saw earlier in the match, but his sights are set on qualification. Steve Beaton will have something to say about that. He plays Willie Borland next. Welcome back to the roller coaster that is Group B, and it's going to get the exciting climax that we expected because Keegan Brown has just got the better of Gemma Hayter. She's cut adrift now at the bottom of the table after that 4-1 defeat before the break, but it does mean that Keegan has returned to the qualification places. The top three, remember, go through in Group B, but he's only just there on leg difference, by 1 leg in fact, from Steve Beaton. They're 2 points behind both Steve West and Willie Borland, who each need 1 win to secure qualification. And Steve Beaton is back on stage now against Willie Borland, who can get that victory here. Now, I have been doing some quick calculations in the break, Laura, and I can tell you that they're actually remaining now with 5 matches to go, precisely 4,096 possible scenarios. And Steve West qualifies in 4,056 of those scenarios. Willie Borland's got a great chance as well. He would qualify in 3,185. That's a 78% chance of qualifying, but it'll be 100% if he wins this game. Are you with me?
I am. I just can't. You know, this abacus that you're working off in this room. You know, it's just taking up so much space. I mean,
Keegan Brown and Steve Beaton both have it in their own hands as well. That's the long and short of it, isn't it? They need to win each of their remaining games and they would be through, because 10 points will qualify any of the players in this group. Willie Borland plays both of those players and he has not been at it tonight.
Yeah, and that's my only concern, because Willie Borland, he was very lucky to kind of trip over the line in that first match against Gemma Hayter. Gemma Hayter missing 14 darts at a double and losing just by the solitary leg. But then got beaten to nil by Steve West. But you just look at the averages, and it was a 78 average in the opener. It was a sub 75 average. And yes, averages don't always tell the story because missed doubles and other factors come into play. But I think that just gives you a real indication that compared to the rest of the field, Borland is not quite at it yet.
Yeah, Beaton actually has been decent tonight, hasn't he? 4-2 win against Keegan Brown. He played well in. Okay, he lost his opening match to Steve West, but recovered by beating Brown in the previous one.
$53. Stevie Carr, 147.
Yeah, and he's making a pretty good start here, Stevie B. Can't finish the 147. I have heard a 147 is tough.
It proved to be the case on this occasion. The way he closed out that game against Keegan Brown was magnificent. A dozen dart leg. Wow.
Stevie Carr, 90.
Only scored 4 points there, Willie Borland. Beaton still can't cross the line, 54. But once again, Borland is way back in a leg, and I don't know what's happened to him tonight.
85. Stevie Carr, 36. $28. Willie Carr, 160.
No, Willie Borland, he did suffer a disappointment in terms of not getting that automatic qualification through Group A, but in terms of gameplay, it wasn't a capitulation as such. He just lost a couple of fixtures. Well, just a brief pause as there's an adjustment on the scoreboard.
Game show on the first leg, Steve Beaton.
Well, Steve Beaton worked it out.
Second leg, Willie to
he knew what he needed, and he got it.
$115. $139. $95. 134. $100.
So Beaton playing his penultimate match. His final game will be against Gemma Hayter. Remember, if he wins both of his games, that'll see him through on 10 points.
139.
So this is key for Steve Beaton. I'm not saying it's a definite win against Gemma Hayter.
93.
Willie Borland found that
89.
out, but he's going to be in a very strong position.
Yeah, and he's now in a strong position. It's 2 darts. It's double 16. Over for double 8.
73. Willie Khan, 98.
We did say what happens at the end of the night will seem important, but how big was that win against Keegan Brown earlier
On
for
the
Steve
second
Beaton?
leg, Willie Borland.
Willie Borland might make it less important. That's a fantastic
Felix
2-dart
Hayter
kill of
first.
98
Game
for the
on.
Scotsman.
Yeah, and a much better leg overall as well. 1 in 14 darts, and he's just trying to G himself up at the back of the stage.
60. $140.
Yeah, so a reminder that if Willie Borland wins this match, he goes through. Steve Beaton must win 2 matches to secure qualification,
42.
or to guarantee it at least. Same goes for Keegan Brown. Steve West needs just 1 more win.
97.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, the tables you feel have
67.
turned slightly in this match. Willie Borland looking far more focused. And I do think coming in at the top of the table does bring an additional
140.
pressure on the individual player, because you feel to yourself, right, I just need a couple of wins. 2 more wins guaranteed a spot through, and it's not necessarily
60.
the right mentality
Willie
to
Khan,
have as such. Yes, you need to
124.
know what to do, but you need to go up there and be focused on winning everything. Otherwise, the longer you search for those wins, panic stations start to set in.
88. $54. Willie Khan, 36. $28.
Decides to leave himself on double 4 as he looks to get ahead here. It's bizarre, isn't it? We said it took him a while to get
100.
going tonight, but as soon
Willie
as he had
Khan,
1
8.
decent leg, he looks to follow it with another.
Game show on the third
He
leg, Willie Borland.
reverses the scoreline in this game. He was a leg down, he's
Fourth
now a
leg,
leg
Willie to
up.
throw first. Game on. $140.
Yeah, this just looks so much better from Borland. Borland did get the better of Steve Beaton yesterday, but Steve
45.
Beaton spurned 4 match-winning opportunities.
85. $80.
You watch Steve Beaton throw, and he's just got one of those actions that just hasn't changed over the years. It's so simple, straightforward,
39.
so smooth.
$140.
Yeah, you just can't see how he could ever sort of start to fade in terms of
60.
his performance levels, because the throw is just the same. Replicated time after time to great effect.
140.
Yeah, back-to-back 140s for Beaton. As you say, it just makes it look effortless.
99. Steve Khan, 96.
Chance for a break back here for Beaton.
60. Willie Khan, 78. Game show on the fourth leg, Willie Borland.
So Borland suddenly
Fifth leg,
on the
Steve to
cusp
throw
of
first.
qualification. We were
Game
talking
on.
about the potential of a monumental slide, a capitulation tonight for the Scotsman. Didn't start the evening well.
125.
Managed to cross the line against Gemma Hayter, but he was mighty relieved to do so, and then was thumped
100.
4-0 by Steve West. But if he wins one more leg in this match, Willie Borland will be through to Saturday,
100.
and only 2 places will remain.
$77.
Yeah, you were mentioning earlier that Keegan Brown possibly was picking up his World Youth Championship at the same time as the Bronze Adonis may have been on his kind of 20th World Championship campaign. Well, 1996
100.
is the year that Willie Borland was born.
Wow.
For anyone that doesn't know, 1996 was the year that Steve Beaton became the BDO World Champion, the Lakeside World Champion, and it was with darts like that.
Well, he's
83.
just going to make
41.
Willie work for this. Double 16.
Getting shown the
3-2.
fifth leg, Steve
So
Beaton.
Borland now has the throw. This is serving
Six leg Willie to throw
for
first.
qualification
Game on.
through to finals night.
100.
Yeah, no 9-dart heroics here for Willie Borland to win the match. But I think he'll settle for a ton at this point.
140. $80.
You always say darts is a strange thing because all of a sudden everything's just clicked for Willie Borland.
100. $99.
He's hoping to close in. Beaton breathing down his neck here, though.
81.
Just rescues that shot with the final dart.
It doesn't leave a finish, but
45.
Borland hasn't left a finish himself.
140.
Well, it could get interesting yet. Steve Beaton could level this match. If he then goes on to win the game, he is on 8 points
60,
alongside Steve West and Willie Borland. If Keegan Brown can then beat Steve West, we have a 4-way tie between 4 players with just 3 matches to play.
30. Willie Carr, 117.
All that could be wiped away if Willie Borland can take out this checkout. Treble 19, not found. Beaton comes back.
99. Steve Carr, 10.
Double 5. Not every player's favourite, and that is the reason why. Now chasing it round, 1 dart, double 2 to level it up, and goes the wrong
Willie Carr,
side.
18.
And it calls into question Willie Borland's decision to go for a treble 20 there to
Getting
leave
shown the
double
match,
9.
Willie Borland.
Well, that question's been answered, and Willie Borland has qualified for finals night. He defeats Steve Beaton 4-2. He knew that he needed to win that game to get through, and that's exactly what he has done. Beaton missed the opportunity to level the match. Willie Borland is through, and Steve West can join him if he beats Keegan Brown after the break.
One treble required. Tops. Oh, magnificent.
A group of players for 2026 that has won a week. That's an elite group, though.
Game shot.
That's how champions do it.
Ironically, it's been the block toe. It's the one he's been able to find. Oh, this would be some act of defiance. Some act of dancing defiance.
I've stopped speculating how Scarrett gets finishes.
It is 20 for double 16.
Game shot in the first
Traditional
leg,
route,
Jasper
and it was
Scarrett.
pinned well by Jasper Scarrett.
So that's the important dart, but because Spellman's dart lays fairly flat, it can be in a way. You see, stepped across to hit the treble,
Game shot on the
step
third leg.
back across
Alex
to hit
Spellman.
the tops. It's a 120 finish for Spellman.
Game shot on
Finds
the fifth leg.
tops.
Reece Colley.
A great 120 check out there by Reece Colley.
Has first dibs on a potential outshot. Oh, we need the ball.
on the second leg.
167. Take a bow, Jamal Vinden Herrick.
So, to stay in it. Another. Oh, this is fabulous. Can he complete the combination? Can he save his skin? Oh, that is incredible. Yeah, just one more week to make it through to Champions Week, and this is a lineup for week 12. It all starts on Monday with Reece Colley in Group A, along with the 9-dart hero from last time he was here, Jasper Scarrett, and David Manure all the way from Kenya. Why not? He's joined by Alex Spellman from the USA in a very cosmopolitan Group A. And there are plenty of superb talents across all the groups, including Dean Finn, who made it through famously to Champions Week last year. Yeah, Finn was in tears after winning his week, wasn't he? Speaking of which, there's Keegan Brown. Is it going to end in tears tonight for Keegan Brown, or can he do himself an almighty favour and get the better of Steve West in this one? A reminder, scenario is a similar one to the previous game. If Steve West wins, he goes through, joins Willie Borland in qualifying for finals night. But if Keegan Brown wins, he joins Steve West on 8 points and puts the pressure on Steve Beaton, who would then have to defeat Gemma Hayter in the game that follows and wait for the remaining results.
Yeah, just looking at them both kind of warming up and practicing. Very similar shirts in terms of tone and colour. But I do agree, I think this is a really big game for Keegan Brown. He was slightly distracted in his last match, but still managed to get past Gemma Hayter 4 legs to 1.
Keegan to throw first.
But as for Steve West, he's looking to do something that no one else can do today, and that's go through the card. 2 wins from 2 so far, and he's got 1 left. He will see out the evening or the early hours of Saturday morning against Gemma Hayter. Their meeting yesterday was an emphatic win for Keegan Brown, as it looks like he's being attacked by another one of our winged friends.
Well, you know who that is, don't you?
Do you reckon Steve Beaton's round the back just let it off?
Well, that is Steve Beaton.
Ah, I like what you've done there.
Beaton will be in the back room hoping that West will be a pest for Keegan Brown in this match, and hoping that he carries on the form that he showed in his previous game. It's a little while ago now, but he thumped Willie Borland 4-0.
$140. Keegan Brown 167.
Both players down to big 3-figure outs after 9, but it's Keegan Brown looking for treble 19. Can't find it, so an opportunity for Westy here.
139. She's around 161.
Can't get the
combination going, so he's looking to set up as well if he gets a chance to come back to the oche, because it's double 14 for Keegan Brown, and it's a 13 dart opener for Keegs.
Second leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
It makes it very interesting if he wins the game.
100.
This could actually be the crucial game when you think about it, because pressure is piled on Steve Beaton, isn't it? Going into this match, he is 3 legs worse off than Keegan Brown. So a big win for Keegan Brown. Could really do him a world of good. His final match is against Willie Borland, who's already qualified.
81.
Beaton's going to have to beat Gemma Hayter and then just watch the last couple of games and hope that the results go his way.
42.
Yeah, there's still a few permutations that can happen.
$60.
Shake of the head from Steve West, who was unfortunate not to find a big treble.
137. One of them, 40.
Yeah, good visit from West to leave the Shanghai shot as he looks to level up this match. Good use of the switch there from
92.
Keegan Brown, though.
Supercar 120.
Yeah, just making sure he's on a finish if he gets back to the oche, which he will do.
100. Keegan Car 170.
Could have switched, but perseverance pays for West.
134. Supercar 20. Getting shown the second leg, Steve
And we
West.
have a level match at 1 apiece.
Third leg, Keegan to throw first. Game on.
Steely focus on the face of Keegan Brown as he approaches the oche.
It would take a minor miracle for
97.
Steve West to miss out on qualification.
You got some more numbers for us, Murph?
Well, he's got very close to a 100% chance
100.
of qualifying, Steve West, but he's not quite there yet. If he were to lose this game 4-3, for example, for him to go out, every other result would have to go 4-0 against him.
177.
But if he wins the game, that is 100%. Roughly, Laura, I think Keegan's got about a 71% chance of qualifying as things stand. And Steve Beaton, well, he's around 30%. That defeat to Willie Borland has been damaging.
42.
He needs to beat Gemma Hayter and then hope for the best, basically. But that picture could change after this match. If Brown wins this game, then it's a likely outcome that he, West, and Borland are through. Borland, of course, already confirmed.
99. Supercar 121.
Steve Beaton could have the same scenario had in international pairs where he gets 8 points and doesn't get through. Ball for West to lead.
96. Keegan Car 86.
And he'll stay there. Single 18 leaves the ball.
61. Supercar 25.
So double 8 is the choice for Steve West.
9.
And he fails to find that as well.
Keegan Car 25. Getting shown the third leg, Keegan Brown. Fourth leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
Good standard. West hovering around the 100 mark. Keegan Brown not far behind.
123.
But importantly ahead in the legs column.
Yeah, that's the stat that counts, and that's the one that
58.
benefit both these players. As you say, West will qualify through with a win. Does have one more game to get to that magical 10-point number. He plays the last game against Gemma Hayter.
One of them, 40. $26.
303 remaining, so it should start at the bottom of the board.
$59. $60.
Steve West just cutting a bit of a frustrated figure up on the stage. He's all round that treble 20 bed, but can't consistently find the big scores, unlike Keegan Brown, who's looking to fill it up.
Fill
it up, he does.
64 when he returns. Under what pressure?
One of them, 40. Keegan Brown, 64. Getting shown the fourth leg, Keegan Brown.
Well, some pressure, but he didn't show that it affected him. He
Fifth leg,
leads
Keegan to
3-1.
throw first.
Where's Steve gone? Oh, welcome
Game
back.
on.
A running start?
I saw Keegan Brown looking down and then realised that he didn't have an opponent for a moment.
I don't know if you've noticed as well,
95.
because it came up yesterday that Keegan Brown's glass is generally a bit larger than everyone else's just because he drinks a copious amount of water. I did have
100.
a message yesterday from Alex Small to say, hang on a minute, that's the glass that I use. He was like, Keegan, get your hands off my glass.
96.
Yeah, there you see it.
$41.
I think the funny thing that happened yesterday more than anything else is it's clearly different, it's clearly bigger, and Gemma Hayter went over to the
54.
table, looked at both glasses and picked up the big one.
$60. $136.
Well, he's Brown about to get an all-important victory here.
100. Keegan Brown, 120.
Yeah, Westy keeps fighting away, but a treble 20 here would leave tops for the match, and it's a wild one from Keegan Brown.
44.
The margin of the win could be huge for Keegan Brown in terms of
100.
qualifying.
Keegan Brown, 76.
Is he going to get that 4-1 success?
68.
Well, not
Keegan
yet.
Brown, 100.
Yeah, if he is, he'll have to hope that Steve West can't find this ton checkout, and it's 2 in hand at tops and
shot
only
fifth
1
leg, Steve
required,
West.
and we carry on. Real
Sixth leg,
clutch
Steve to
finish
throw
from
first.
Steve West to deny Keegan Brown a 4-1
Game on.
victory.
They're still playing a decent standard, the pair of them. Brown fighting.
97.
Awkward first start, but
96.
switch down to the 90s, utilised well.
$60. $51.
West, remember, 2 legs away
100.
from qualification. And if he does win, suddenly the pendulum swings back in favour of Steve
137.
Beaton.
$83.
Yeah, still fine margins. We'll know more in a leg or two. Keegan just looking to set up, picks off a beautiful treble 19 with the last start, but it's Steve West here to level things up. 161 required. He's not going to go.
137.
But what the last couple of darts piles on the pressure onto this 137.
$121. Supercar 24.
Well, big dart incoming.
On the 6th leg, Steve West.
No messing around for Steve West. Levels things up. It's 3 apiece. We go the distance.
So the final leg, Keegan to throw first. Game on. $97.
Huge leg. Huge leg of darts. West wins it, he qualifies. Look, it's unlikely that he will drop out of the top 3 anyway, but it's still mathematically possible.
140.
If Brown wins it, he remains the master of his own fate.
140.
But if he loses, Steve Beaton can go ahead of him when he plays Gemma Hayter next.
59.
Yeah, waiting in the wings in the final match for Steve Brown. Here's Willie Borland, who is already through.
60.
It's a really competitive last leg. Both play it desperate to get across the line. It is Westy first down to a finish, but Keegan Brown, you feel, should be leaving something much more attainable from here.
105. Supercar 161.
So he does leave a 2-darter. Could look at the bull.
57.
Well, he decided against it. Might have been a better choice. But it's treble 20 to delay Steve West's progression. Tops. To boost his own chances, but he can't do it yet. 104 from West. Could have been on a 2-darter. He opted for a different route. Treble 16 required. Can't find it. Brown returns with 3 in hand at tops.
Keegan car 40. Getting shot on the match,
He
Keegan Brown.
returns with 3 in hand, but it was only 1 required, and it's Keegan Brown who gets across the line in the end. Look at Keegan, little wink to the camera, grits his giant glass of water. Oh, look, 2 winks. Ah, look, Keegan's obviously really rather happy about the way that went, and why wouldn't he be? Keeps him well in contention for making it through. That there, the tail of the tape. Well, we go back, and we will be seeing Steve Beaton, and he'll be taking on Gemma Hayter after the break.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series on Pluto TV, where Steve Beaton is in action and still fighting. Does need to win to keep his hopes alive here, and then we'll be waiting for the outcome of the next match at least. Maybe the final match as well, but that's very unlikely. If Gemma Hayter gets one leg off Steve Beaton here, then Steve West will go through. We can confirm that after he managed to get 3 legs in defeat to Keegan Brown. Steve Beaton, if he loses, that's it. It's his last match. He'll remain on 6 points. Brown's now on 8, and it'll be Brown, West, and Borland
First leg,
that
Gemma
go
to
through.
First.
So 1 leg for Hayter puts West through. If Beaton can win 4-0, though, then there's still a chance that West could go out. Although Gemma Hayter would have to be absolutely brutal to Steve West, lose this game 4-0 and then beat him 4-0.
Well, it was 4-0 yesterday in favour of Steve Beaton, and he kicks off with the maximum.
$100.
But Gemma Hayter, I will say today, despite the way that the results have gone, she has looked far more comfortable on the stage. She's crafted out a lot more opportunities, just hasn't been able to take them at key moments.
$60. $140. $100.
Good pick off with the last start for Gemma Hayter to make sure she's on a finish, but well, Steve Beaton was looking for treble 19, went into the 7, and now has pulled it into the treble 11. 40 scored, 41 left.
49.
Tidies up in the end. Treble 19 this time for Hayter, just high of the target. So Beaton
89.
He's been pretty good on double 16.
Getting shot on the first leg,
The 13 dart opening breaker throw for the bronze Adonis.
Second leg, Steve to throw first. Game on. $96. $59.
And already the way that Steve Beaton's been firing in those big 1, 2, 3 treble visits. It's an opening here for Beaton.
25.
One he takes.
$140.
A good response from Gemma, but Beaton is away down in this leg already.
85.
I mean, if he can win the game and get ahead of Keegan Brown, actually the best he can do is get level with Keegan Brown on leg difference, isn't it? But if he can do that, if he can win 4-0 and get level on leg difference, then Keegan Brown is going to need to win.
84. $70.
Yeah, another one in there for the ball for a big fish finish.
137. See the car 111.
Well, even that, despite not taking it out, just put pressure on this 111. He is going to get a dart at double 16 here, Steve Beaton, and he takes it out, all the ones. And Hayter was close.
Third leg, Gemma to throw first. Game on.
Well, they're all smiles on stage because, yeah, Hayter missing the ball for a 170 and then the 111 pinned by Steve Beaton. He's 2 from 2 on the doubling.
Well, that's been the big problem for Gemma Hayter. When you look over the stats across this group, you will actually look, and it's been a tale of missed doubles. She's been competitive in the scoring stakes, but it's just a bit at the end of the leg,
59.
the most important bit.
$70.
Yeah, and I'm sure she'll be more than aware of that. still think the experience of playing up there on the Super Series
44.
stage, it's invaluable for players.
$100.
Now that is an inviting first start, but just slices across and finds the
95.
treble 5, makes everything a bit awkward again.
A 4-0 win, I think it's imperative for Steve Beaton here. If you
58.
just look at the table, the way it's fallen, being 4 legs behind Keegan Brown and 2 points. As I said before, he'd be level on leg difference. So that would mean Keegan would have to beat Willie Borland, because obviously by
100.
losing the match, his leg difference would get worse. Where if it's 4-1, 4-2, it gives Keegan a little bit more breathing
133.
space, a few more possible
103.
outcomes in that game. So he will be cheering this in from the monitor in the practice room. It's not going to go, though.
55. 2 car 40.
No, and so far, Steve Beaton been perfect when it's come to the
Pretty sure
finishing,
it's
and it's
Steve
3
Beaton.
from 3 for Steve Beaton on the doubles.
4 fake Steve to through first. Game
And
on.
let's just remember as well, Steve West is waiting for Gemma Hayter to win 1 leg to confirm his qualification.
Of course.
60.
Well, 3 out of 3 ain't bad. No, that wasn't it, was it?
It was 2 out of 3, but 3 out of 3 is very good.
60.
And that's very good as well. And it kind of shows the story that we've been saying. Gemma Hayter, decent scoring. Okay, it is predominantly a scoring average in this game.
135.
She has only had a single dart double.
$30.
But that there, a bit of a slip from Hayter, and Beaton is all over it. It's another maximum for the Bronze Adonis, maximum number 2. Hayter looking to follow suit, and she does.
We got 126.
That route for
94.
66 always goes the ball to leave double 8, but tidies it up nicely. We'll be back for double 16 for the match.
100. Supercar 32.
Well, it's a 1 dart missed at a double, but it is Steve Beaton who does win 4 legs to 0 over Gemma Hayter. A bit of a fist bump there with Paul Hinks, and a nice smiles between the pair of them, but that you feel was an imperative win for Steve Beaton if he's got any chance of making it through to Saturday's finals. Well, we will be finding out soon, because Willie Borland will be taking on Keegan Brown.
Welcome back then to the end of the story. Oh, it will be for one more player. Will that player be Keegan Brown, who now finds himself outside of the qualification places once again? It has been a real topsy-turvy table and a battle between himself and Steve Beaton. Steve West actually been dragged into that battle as well, but he's pretty much through. Would need a unlikely 4-0 defeat in his final game. Keegan Brown, though, is the player that holds all the answers. If Willie Borland, who sits at top of the table and has already qualified, beats Keegan Brown here, then Steve West and Steve Beaton are through before that final match. If Brown gets a victory, then it's all to play for.
First leg, Willie to throw first.
Keegan himself
Game on.
would be through. And Steve Beaton would be praying for that 4-0 victory that we said was unlikely before he beat Gemma Hayter 4-0.
Yeah, they are unlikely scenarios, but there are still permutations that could happen.
43. One of them, 40.
Well, this particular match, if you'd asked me at the beginning of the evening,
one of them, 40.
Who was most likely to win, then I think I would put the onus on Keegan Brown, because Willie Borland just took him a few
60.
matches to get into the level of play that we're used to seeing from him, but really did turn it on against Steve Beaton, winning 4 legs to 2, ensuring that he makes it through to Saturday's finals.
One of them, 40. $60. $58. Willie car 118.
Brown coming back
40.
for 120.
Keegan car 120.
Keegan did take this out yesterday. Opportunity to take it out again.
Game shot the first leg.
And the 120 is pinned by Keegan Brown. Early break, a throw, and
second
Willie Borland just in the back, looking at his feet.
Game on. $92.
Just having another look at the permutation picture, and I actually think that 99.9999% chance of Steve West
83.
qualifying, we've underplayed it. He's 100% Laura. If Gemma Hayter did go on to beat Steve West 4-0, West and Beaton would be the same on every single metric in the table. Beaton beat West 4-3 last night, but because Steve West beat Steve Beaton 4-2 tonight, he's ahead in the head-to-head. So he has qualified. We can give him that extra 0.00001.
58.
And that's the margins that it's been this week, these solitary legs. Solitary games.
$100.
So it is between Brown and Beaton, and we said earlier tonight that well could be the case for third place.
100.
Beaton won that match 4-2. But at the moment, it's Brown who's in the box seat. Beaton's done. He's waiting now. If Keegan Brown wins this match, he goes through. Steve Beaton goes home.
And Keegan Brown making great inroads in leg number 2.
One of them, 40.
Willie Borland
Keegan
hanging on to his
116.
coattails. If Brown can't find this, then Borland will have a chance at the 120. Tops again, the target for Keegan.
96.
This time he can't find it.
120. $100. Keegan car 20.
Borland can't repeat the feat of Keegan Brown from leg one. That was that close. I think Keegan was walking, but you can walk now, Keegan Brown, because that was in.
Third leg Willie to throw first. Game on.
Well, Beaton's chance is fading fast. Remember,
80.
If Keegan Brown wins this match, he goes through. If Willie Borland wins this match, Steve Beaton goes through.
$96. $58.
Switching down to the bottom of the board, just the wrong side of the wire.
86.
It'd be another Group B where Steve Beaton's got 8 points and not qualified. That is so rare. Beaton did it in international pairs last year with Adrian Lewis. He might be doing it again himself here. Keegan Brown might just be playing Willie Borland at the right time.
97.
Already qualified. Not that there's any sign he's taken his foot off the gas. He's averaging north of 90 after the first 2.5
58.
legs.
Yeah, but there was a moment, wasn't there, in that match against Steve Beaton where Borland guaranteed his qualification, where he was really trying to G himself up, trying to get that adrenaline going, and it's quite hard to manufacture when you know that the job is done.
100. Willie Carr, 70. 98. Keegan Carr, 22.
So 1-2-2 for Brown to move within a leg. Treble 18. Another or the single. For the bull. Didn't even entertain the treble.
97.
But he can't
Willie
nail the
Carr,
bullseye.
72. $39.
The last start was an
Keegan
attempt
Carr,
for the bullseye
25.
frustration, because that was way off the target for Willie Borland.
$17. Willie Carr, 33.
Bit of a wince there from Keegan Brown. Could have just got rid of all the drama, all the pressure
Getting
by
shot the
landing
third
that
leg,
double
Willie Borland.
instead. Borland beds one himself. Big celebration.
Fourth leg Keegan to throw first. Game on.
And Brown still 2 legs from the finish line.
Yeah, this was a match that Willie Borland won quite comfortably in the end, 4 legs to 1 yesterday.
96.
But for Keegan Brown, there's a lot more riding on this one than his opener from Thursday
58.
evening.
One of them, 40. $137.
Yeah, good switch, and Willie Borland plays with such a pace that he doesn't give himself a great deal of time to make that adjustment, but made it well on that occasion.
95. $139. Keegan Carr, 170.
Great use of the board as Keegan was trying to stare down the big fish. Yeah, I think even Willie Borland saw the funny side
58.
of that.
Willie Carr, 167. $97. Keegan Carr, 112.
So 112. Going for the 19s. Staying there. Double 18 will complete the combo. Oh, and
Getting
that's a
shot on the
beautiful
fourth leg.
finish from
Keegan
Keegan
Brown.
Brown, and he knows how crucial that could be.
Fifth leg Willie to throw first. Game on.
Seeking out the camera, the pointed finger. It's the second ton plus checkout of the
100.
match for Keegan Brown. As you say, it was a huge leg. It's one of those kind of real turning points in a match. The difference between 3-1 up and 2 apiece.
140. One of them, Foxy. One of them, Foxy.
Back-to-back 140s for Keegan Brown.
100.
Willie Borland hanging on in there and first down to a finish.
$96. Willie car 161.
So 161 not going to go. Brown could seal his Saturday spot
65.
in sensational style. Fancied doing it differently. Went the treble 15 route. Now 90 remaining. Could leave the go for the bull again here. Treble 18
89.
instead.
Willie car 96.
Well, he's almost there, but Borland can delay him.
Double 18 across for double 9, and he does delay him, and it's a finger point in return from Willie Borland.
6-leg Keegan to throw first. Game on.
There's that bravado we spoke about.
He's needling the needle.
The thing is, Keegan Brown did it because of the meaning.
137.
But your opponent never reads it that way, do they? They think it's aimed at them.
You just think, really, why was that necessary? But what that does do as well, I think, to a player like Willie Borland, who's obviously reacted in that way, that must have been playing on his mind. And now there's that big rush of adrenaline, and it's a leg that Borland needs to win to try and level things up.
68. $125. One of them, Foxy.
Well, it's a good bounce back that from Keegan Brown. Credit to him.
One of them, Foxy.
Couple of 2 treble
Keegan
turns in his first 3
56.
visits. And he does have 6 starts from here. May only need 3. Oh, what a way that would have been to do it. But he's left himself on an awkward double. And Willie Borland can apply more pressure here.
And he will apply more pressure.
He's got 18.
Double 9 for Brown to qualify. And he's done it
on the match, Keegan Brown.
by beating Borland. He eliminates Steve Beaton. And Keegan qualifies for finals night. Brown is through with a wink, a drink, and maybe even a smile. But a 4-2 success for Keegan Brown sees him go through. Steve West is also through. Willie Borland, the other player, through. Steve Beaton is out. Welcome back. Well, Steve West can relax ahead of his final game. He is in the knowledge that he's already through. However, he can mix things up in the table. He's currently third, but if he wins it, he'll be top of the table. And Willie Borland, who was top before the previous game, will end up third, and Keegan Brown will sit between them in second. If West doesn't win the game, then Keegan Brown will be top, Borland second, and Steve himself will finish third. Steve Beaton has departed. Gemma Hayter, without a win tonight, remains on 2 points. But at the start of this week, Steve West said that he wasn't quite sure how it would go. I think he'll be almightily pleased to have made it through to finals night once again.
Yeah, we'll often look at these group stages. They're like a qualification process. That's the idea of them.
60.
And the fact that Steve West has now put himself in a position to pick up a 6th title. Only one player has done that so far in the Super Series building, and that's Neil Duff.
100.
It's been a strange day. I know there'll be people in the production gallery that have allegiances to certain players because they work with them. You get the same support when you're on stage, Laura, don't worry. But Keegan Brown, a fellow co-commentator, and Jared Cole, who works behind the scenes
35.
as a spotter, amongst other roles. Both kind of been on roller coaster rides over the last couple of days, but both have made it through
100
to the Saturday showpiece.
Yeah, both have done really well. You know when someone tells you not to worry? I wasn't worried before that I wasn't getting support. Now I'm slightly worried.
180.
Well, West leaves the 170, and it is exhibition time for Steve now.
60.
Safe in the knowledge that he will be playing another day. Well, the same day if you want to be pedantic about it. Fishy time.
131. Jamaica,
Not to beat.
126.
No, but for Gemma Hayter, she's playing for pride. She'd like to finish with a flourish, and it's bullseye for Hayter for the 126.
101.
It was a better effort, but still the wrong side of the ball.
Game shot on the first leg, Steve West. Second leg, Gemma to throw first. Game on.
So first leg in the ledger for Steve West.
$45.
But anybody getting through this group has to be pleased anyway. A really tough group.
Yeah, and as you said before, you've got
59.
to feel for Steve Beaton. Not the first time that he's accumulated 8 points in Group B and not made it through to finals night. Maybe we should put Stevie B in a different group.
100.
Yeah, it is a short race, isn't it, when you come in Group B? Look, a lot of people say it's an advantage because 3 players go from 5. Group C's 2 from 6, but you very quickly run out of matches in this group. Steve Beaton found out. He won his last match 4-0 against Gemma Hayter, but that wasn't enough.
$60.
Yeah, and I think naturally the inclination, isn't it, is when with Group B, you do get that higher caliber of player in because you get the top players from Group A.
140.
Remember, you guys kindly put me in a wonderful group for the last Women's Week with alongside Gemma Hayter, Fallon Sherrick, Lisa
100.
Ashton, and Lorraine Winstanley, I think it was.
Shouldn't have been a problem for a former finalist here.
It proved to be in the end.
Shaping up to be a good finals night. Simon Stevenson, Jared Cole.
60. Jamaica 56.
Ben Robb and the 3 that have qualified from this group. West, Borland and Brown. Has Hayter got a few more moments before she departs
36.
the series?
Jamaica 164.
A disappointment. That's kind of been the story of Gemma Hayter's week. Has crafted opportunities, not always able to take them, and now there's pressure on the double 10.
20. Getting shot on the second leg, Gemma Hayter.
In it goes then.
Third leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
One apiece.
$125. $57.
Don't forget, if you do want to stay up and carry on watching the darts content, and if you do want to see Steve Beaton
100.
for a little longer, you can. Following the live action tonight, Oki 2 Oven featuring Steve Beaton and Richie Burnett. Not a pot noodle in sight.
95. $60.
And in fact, overnight, you'll be able to re-watch the finals night from International Pairs 2.
One of them, 40.
Yeah, looking forward to the international pairs. Just brings a different feel, a different dynamic, the opportunity for players to represent their country.
97.
But also the pairs format in itself. Some players, they really lend themselves to it. Obviously, it was Team Ireland that won last time out. Steve West has played in it previously, and Steve Beaton will be back
97.
for that. But
Supercar
as we said before, it's a
190.
different look to Team England this time round.
Yeah, it's good fun. Serious business for the players that are on the
43.
stage. And a few new faces in this time. Gemma Hayter here. Might be having a
Getting
big
shown the
say in
third
who
leg,
goes
Gemma
into
Hayter.
which group on finals night.
Fourth leg, Gemma to throw first.
112
Game
checkout,
on.
2-1 lead. Steve West shakes his head.
It's one of those things as well. You know where the camera is, and
82.
you're never sure if it's actually on you, but you can't help but take that little fleeting glance when things aren't quite going right.
57.
Can tell you as well, we will be hearing from Keegan Brown at the end of the show this evening. He's going to join
100.
Laura and I for a chat. It'll be interesting to know his feelings over the course of an eventful night for him.
180.
Yeah, I do wonder if there was a point in the evening that he thought maybe his course had run, especially when he lost that opening match against Steve
55.
Beaton, who at the time was, well, and right to the very end was his kind of closest rival.
But
123.
It looked, and it was a battle between those two all night, but the last game of the evening could actually confirm them finishing 3 places apart.
94. Supercar 141.
Yeah, that's always indicative of a really tight group.
91. Gemma Car 170.
Come on then, Gemma. Oh, that was a good effort at the treble 20, just below it.
94. Supercar 50.
Does Steve West fancy some showmanship? No.
30. Gemma Car 76.
Now, whether he was contemplating it, but the missus presented a chance here. Should just be one dart. That dart is at tops. Shuffle across the oki and
56.
again, good
Supercar
effort from
20.
Hayter.
Getting shown the fourth leg, Steve West. Fifth leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
There is
140.
an advantage in terms of where you finish on the table. Some players may not see it always an advantage, but it does dictate which groups then you end up going into onto Saturday night.
60.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you will miss the winners of Group A and Group C if you do top Group B.
60.
Yeah, that is correct. So Ben Robb. No, just the winner of Group A, I think. If you top, he said,
60.
if you top Group B, you would get the winner of Group C, which was Simon Stevenson, wasn't it? Yeah. But you'd miss out Ben Robb.
100.
Weirdly, I actually think Steve West's going to end up in the same group, whatever happens, because he can't finish second, can he? Only first or third.
Well, yes.
But Keegan Brown could end up first or second, and Willie
59.
Borland could end up second or third, so they could go into either group. But actually, Steve West can't change a thing for himself here, just the other people.
177.
If he does win the group and Brown is runner-up, we will get that Modus Super Series derby, of course, between Keegan Brown and Jared Cole in Group 1 tomorrow night.
180, Supercar 24.
She got overexcited with the maximum there, Gemma Hayter. It was a good response to 177 from West, but he lands a double. He takes the lead, and he's one away from closing the night out with a win.
Yeah, they can see the funny side. We've all done it. We've all dropped a dart and tried to pick it up, and you get a bit flustered.
81. $60. 140.
Third 140 visit for Gemma Hayter. She's already whacked in 2 maximums as well, and that high check out of 112.
59.
It's been a good performance. Gemma looking to finish on a positive note.
$125. 60. Gemma car 155.
And the leg does make it look likely that we will be going the distance.
$59.
Steve Weston looking for 3 trebles to leave himself on any kind of finish.
100. Gemma car 96.
Oh, just looking a bit frustrated. It's been a better night in terms of performances from Gemma Hayter, but it could be a night where she doesn't win a game.
23.
Certain irony in that.
Yeah, it kind of all stems from the first game of the evening, doesn't it, for Gemma, where she had all those chances against Willie Borland, and how different the table might have looked if it had gone the way of Gemma.
Game show on the 6th leg, Gemma Hayter.
So, all square. This last leg will determine the order of the group. If Steve West wins it,
game on.
He tops the table. If he doesn't, he finishes third, and Keegan Brown tops the table.
180.
Yeah, there's been 5 maximums shared between these two in this match. That was maxi number 3 for Steve West.
95.
How many did you say?
180.
I said that was maxi number 4 for Steve West.
And it means that we could be ending the evening in the most incredible way. Steve West with back-to-back 180s requires 141 for a 9-dart finish. Required.
55.
Oh, that would have been something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we were kind of poised, positioned on the edge of our seats as he approached the oche there. He's has had a 9 here previously, Steve West.
Double 8 then.
78.
Not just yet.
No, but so much time. But you have to give credit in this match, especially for Gemma Hayter, who's pushed
61.
all the way.
8.
But West does get the win, and in doing so, he tops the table. Steve West at the front of a 3-way tie on 10 points. between the three qualified players, himself, Keegan Brown and Willie Borland. But after that 4-3 victory, West took P1. In second place was Keegan Brown, and we'll hear from him at the other side of this.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we've had a climactic end to Group B. Are these the final fixtures of the night? Willie Borland getting the better of Steve Beaton, Keegan Brown then beating Steve West, Beaton then beating Gemma Hayter 4-0, needing to wait to see what happened in the remaining games, but a win for Keegan Brown put him through over Willie Borland and Steve West. End of the night with a win over Gemma Hayter, and that victory for Steve put him top of the table on leg difference. Keegan Brown second in the table on leg difference, and Willie Borland finishing third with Steve Beaton eliminated on 8 points, not for the first time, and Gemma Hayter ending the evening and ending the group on 2. And I'm delighted to say that Keegan has joined us for a chat in the studio. Keegan, I've had you and Laura Turner in this studio before, but in a different capacity. Just talk us through the emotions when you're down there and doing it on the stage.
Well, it's not bad for a darts commentator, is it? That's what I'm going to say. No, to be fair, like, if there's one thing I know to do in life is I know to win a game of darts. And obviously the last game I knew against Willie, if I lost, I'm not here tomorrow night. Well, sorry, today. and if I won, I'm through. So yeah, to be fair, it's all about that experience, and I think maybe 30%, 40% of that last match, all down to experience.
And during that match, we commented on Keegan's sort of business-like demeanour. He really knew what he needed to do, and he went there like a man on a mission, didn't he?
Yeah, and there was almost this kind of change in body language. There was this new focus on your face. I mean, was there any point today that you just thought, have I blown it? Especially after that first match against Steve Beaton. Yeah, your kind of closest rival throughout the day. Was there any point where you thought, this might not be going my way?
Yeah, 100%. To be fair, Steve played absolutely fantastic, and I thought, if I get a good win against Gemma, win against Steve, anything's possible. And, that's the beauty of the game, isn't it? And, like I always say when I'm sat in that chair, it's not all about one game, isn't it? And at the end of the day, 3 out of 4, I'll take that.
What was it like? It was a battle between 4 players, really. Gemma only won 1 match last night, couldn't get a victory tonight. So when there is one player cut adrift, whether that be at the top or the bottom, it means the rest are fighting it out, and it must have been a bit of a head scratcher in the practice room to kind of work out where everyone was.
Yeah, 100%. And not being horrible to Gemma, I missed the 2 darts yesterday to beat her, and she got the first win. And I just kept on thinking all day today, and I thought, it's unlucky not to get the 2 points, but go up there, play that you can, and all the rest of it. And to be fair, Steve's done an absolute job on me, and I thought the last match against Willie, I thought, just stay with him, put the pressure on him, at the right times, and without being rude, do a wadey. Just do a wading, do what you do, and you do best.
It looked in that match like he was going to brush him aside. When you were 2-0 up and then he starts to come back into it, were you starting to worry at all then?
I got nervous when he hit the 1-3-8 to leave tops, and I was an 18, because let's be honest, nobody wants double 9, do they? Let's be honest. But no, in all fairness to Willie, he absolutely played fantastic. We know what Willie can do, and I just thought to myself, just one dart at double 9, and I'll take it.
Let's talk about Borland, because at the start of the night, he was in pole position. He's ended up finishing 3rd. There was a moment where we started to think this could go horribly wrong for him.
Yeah, I mean, really, I thought he was quite lucky to get across the line. He kind of stumbled across the line against Gemma Hayter. It was a 4-3. It was right down to the last leg. And he wasn't convincing in his second game either. But then there was just this magic moment where he started 14 dart, backed it up with a 13 darter, and he just seemed to find enough focus to do enough to get to that magic 10 points. And obviously in the last match against Keegan, it went Keegan's way, so he also reached the magic number.
Willie, I mean, look, he's not been here for a while, but great player, isn't he?
Oh, 100%.
It was a tough group, wasn't it?
No, let's be honest. I don't care anyone says in this series that's the hardest group B. Like, I commentated where most players averaged over 90 in that group B, but this is without a shadow of doubt the hardest, because there was legs. There was only about 2 or 3 points between all of us, and it was just the 3 out of the 5 that got through.
And the other player going through, in fact, topping the group in the end, Steve West. He knows how to make it to a Saturday night, and he knows pretty well how to win on Saturday nights as well, doesn't he?
He's done it a few times, hasn't he? 5, I think. Yeah, obviously going for that 6th title. But I think he's looked really comfortable this week. I think he said he wasn't sure what was going to happen, but there's been some real magic moments from Steve West. And yeah, we were looking at all these permutations, and we were wondering at any point, is he actually going to guarantee his position through? But he got there in the end, and it was looking likely for most of the night.
We made reference to it during comms tonight when Steve Beaton was here with Adrian Lewis for England. They got 8 points, didn't make it through. He comes back on his own, he gets 8 points, didn't make it through. That is rare. What is the issue there for Steve? Is it just down to the rub of the green?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to having that one player, I think, that obviously just with Gemma just picking up that one solitary game, which means everyone else is battling it out. It was a shared amount of points between the rest of the players. It's unfortunate for Steve, and especially the fact that it's happened twice, but he'll look back and there's probably a win or two. The one that springs to mind more than anything else is that one yesterday against Willie Borland, where he had 4 match darts to beat him. Willie then wins, and then obviously Willie's through and Steve's out.
Just a very quick question on Gemma as well. Arguably, she played better tonight than she did last night, but she didn't get a win tonight.
No, it's been a difficult few days for Gemma. I mean, Keegan will say the same thing. She is such a phenomenal player.
Let's be honest with Gemma. I've obviously played Hampshire Youth with her 20 years ago, and she was an absolutely fantastic idol then, and now she's just coming to the post and she's starting to play well. And I was nervous. Like yesterday, I was really nervous, and I thought, I've got so much respect for Gemma. I can't beat her. And then I lost, and I was like, tonight, I thought, no, that has to push to one side and to concentrate on the win.
Right, let's just put you in the picture then of the week as a whole. We have 6 players through to finals night, and it all started with Ben Robb qualifying as the winner of Group A. Then this afternoon, Simon Stevenson and Jared Cole made it through in Group C. Steve West, Keegan Brown and Willie Borland through from Group B. And Keegan, do you want to see what group you're in?
To be fair, I'll be honest, I've played the best in the world, so I don't really give a flying monkeys at the moment. So good save. I'm just going to go at that. Not being horrible. One thing I do know to do is put a bit of a blood sample in an analyzer and to win a game of darts. So at the moment, I'm here for the win.
Right, Keegan doesn't care what group he's in, but I'm sure you at home do. So let's show you what groups tomorrow night will bring. Group 1 features you, Keegan.
I'll take that.
Your Modus Super Series colleague, Jared Cole.
Yeah, to be fair, I'd take that all day, every day. I think with Group 2, it's very in the mix, isn't it? Let's be honest, where, Steve's played really consistent. Simon's a very much of a slower player, and we know what to expect from Willie. But do you know what? Group 1, I fancy it.
There we go. Tough talk from Keegan Brown. Why not? He's made it through. He won his week last series as well. Ben Robb and Jared Cole, it sounds like they've got a handful coming.
Sounds like it indeed. Don't worry, I'll bring the tissues for you. Don't worry about it.
I got that for Secret Santa last year. Cheers, Simon.
Yeah. But that's the attitude you need to have when you're going into these finals nights. You play, everyone's played really well to do that. Everyone will be feeling very similar. So ultimately, it's all about having that confidence, and it's all what happens on the night.
Well, you mentioned experience getting you through. You've now also got the experience of winning on finals night. So how much can that help you?
Oh, 100%. I think the one thing that really puts the old fire in the belly is when I'm like, fifth favourite as such. And I looked and I went, right, okay, let's show the bookies how to play darts. So if I'm obviously fifth or last favourite tomorrow, Keegan Brown's on that trophy.
There we go. So if he's fourth or fifth favourite, that suddenly he'll become favourite because he's got that desire.
Well, I mean, it's something we've touched upon before because it happened the week you won. It happened in Champions Week as well, and you made it all the way through to finals night there, topping Group B, I think, in Champions Week.
Yeah.
So, he likes to defy the odds, doesn't he?
Let's just seriously talk about winning in the last series when you got through to Champions Week. We've had a joke about the emotion, but it does show how much it means, doesn't it?
Oh, of course it does. Let's be honest. This is the best thing to win without having a tour card. And let's be honest. I didn't expect to have some very weird, disease that that affects my hands. It affects my joint. Even now, it affects everything. And the emotions were a bit high because I thought, how can I ever win a high class darts competition ever again? And the emotions were definitely flowing, but tomorrow, let me tell you, that there won't be no tissues.
Is there a few coming over on the ferry to support you? Do you know that yet?
Yeah, 100%. I think we've got at least about 25 coming over. So one of our friends, Big Dog or Billy York. So he'd be saying my name once or twice tomorrow night.
It's a decent finals night. It always is, isn't it, Laura? But there's different dynamics for all the players involved. We've got Keegan, who won in the last series, Steve West, who's won many times before, Willie Borland's won a week but has been away on tour for a while. You've got Simon Stevenson, it's his first time here, and of course Ben Robb all the way from New Zealand. So look, everyone's always up for it, but there's a lot of different motivations. Jared Cole also has won on that stage before.
Yeah, you're right. I think everyone's brings some different element to it, and when you look at how the groups have gone as well, it's just interesting. And for me, Ben Robb, he was really good in Group A, so it's what he's done for those couple of days. We often question that and how he comes into the finals night, because he'll be one of the first players up on the stage. I think he's actually the first player, isn't he, up on the stage when you win Group A. So it's how you negotiate that when you haven't had that experience before. But ultimately, whoever wins this week is going to thoroughly deserve it.
So now, final word to you, Keegan. What's the plan? What's the attitude between now and tomorrow? How are you going to keep this fire in the belly?
As The Rock would say, just bring it. That's what I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
And that is a perfect place to end it. Thank you, Keegan. Well done. Thanks, Laura. Thanks for your company tonight as well. But do stay with us here on Pluto TV because there is plenty coming up on the Modus Super Series Darts channel. Steve Beaton might not be in finals night, but it looks like he is going to have some fire in the belly because it is Oki to Oven coming next with Steve Beaton and Richie Burnett. That is going to be live in just a few moments' time. Saturday, Luke Humphreys is at the Live Lounge. He visited us for various challenges and a nice chat. That's 12:25 tomorrow. Keegan Brown will be back on that stage. Will he be lifting the trophy on Saturday night? Finals night gets underway, as always, at 7:30. And the final week of qualifying for Champions Week in Series 13 starts on Monday at 9:30 a.m. So plenty more on the way, but if you are only going to tune into one of those, make sure it is a live finals night tomorrow. It gets underway at 7:30 and Keegan Brown will be there.
The new Modus Super Series champion.
Oh my word! It's another incredible moment tonight.
Jeff Smith!
It's match down.
5-star performer and the bullseye is hit.
It's Johnny Magnet!
He will be disappointed with that. He wanted to have one dart.
Requires 20.
Graham Usher wins the first game of Champions Night, and it was an absolute ripper. He hit one of them on tops. He missed one on double 12. Which one is it? It's the hit.
Outside opportunity for Andy Hamilton. Van der Velde should be going a match start again here. He's already had one. Mr. Dart at tops for the match to win 4-1. And he Dart at double 16 gets the job done there for Jurgen van der Velde. He gets over the line with a 4-2-6.
Did he go for tops or did he just overshoot the single? Jimmy doesn't care. Jimmy just looks to eat this up to make the semi-finals for the second time. Adam Gablas has been eliminated. Keep us guessing. This time he's trying to leave double 18. He knows best, and he takes the lead. He's 2 darts away from a Super Series final. He's 1 dart away. He doesn't need any more darts. Jeff Smith makes the Series 11 final. Is Usher losing his cool a little bit here?
Oh, absolutely. Right now, I'd say the head's gone. And you don't have long to recover. It is very, very short format darts. Vansky's halfway to victory.
He only needs one more. Jimmy Vansky is yet again into a Modus Super Series final.
Flashback vibes. Can Jimmy Vansky do the same? Just needs the one treble here on the 19s. Finds it. For the ball.
101!
Oh, unlucky. A lot of pressure on it. He's going to split it. 2 darts for double 4 for the match.
Game